The reaction of Owen Wilson joins Deadpool 3 cast. The TVA is coming. Let's see what the comic books say about this and check it out.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. Today we have a huge report coming from well-known scooper Daniel RPK concerning the Deadpool 3 movie and a very unexpected character, Mobius, from the Loki series, played by Owen Wilson. Very well liked and appreciated character for his time in Loki Season 1. We're very excited for his return in Loki Season 2. However, this insider is claiming that the Mobius character will have an involvement in Deadpool 3. And we have a lot to talk about concerning why this might be extremely important for Deadpool 3 and what exactly it could mean as we move forward in the MCU. So, put on your fun theory hats and follow me through a few ideas of what this scoop really could mean, assuming that it's true. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the other major movie and television news updates happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of those are in the description down below. I also want to take just half a second before we dive into the video. I am living in Florida. We do have another hurricane hitting. Hopefully, I won't lose power as long this time, or maybe at all. But it's a possibility, so if you don't see any videos over the next few days, it's probably because I lost power. So hopefully nothing too tragic or terrible happens, but just like to keep the community updated as to what's going on for me. Anyway, let's talk about Mobius, much more important than my hurricane. Mobius will appear in Deadpool 3 and will have a big role via Daniel RPK. A big role in Deadpool 3. So, there's a few different ways that this can go down, and it all really depends on what happens in Deadpool 3. There are very few facts we already know about Deadpool 3, other than A, it's happening, 2, it has a release date, and 3, Hugh Jackman has returned to play Wolverine alongside his good buddy Ryan Reynolds. We have the really cool logo with the Wolverine claws going through it, so lots of excitement there as well. We also know this is kind of Ryan Reynolds' babies. He's referred to coming to the MCU, to working at Disney as the big leagues. He wants to impress. He's going to leave nothing on the table with this movie, so that's all very important. And I think for the most part, whatever Ryan Reynolds chooses to do in this movie, he's going to be given that creative freedom from the big dog, from Kevin Feige, from the people in charge of what happens in Marvel Studios. He's going to have a lot of creative freedom and creative rights. However, there will be some aspects, like with all of these projects coming from the MCU, whether they're TV shows, shorts, or movies, they have to have some type of connection, or will have some type of connection, that will be dictated by President Kevin Feige. So, when it comes to details like Owen Wilson's Mobius, a well-known leader of the TVA, showing up in Deadpool 3, that as an immediate red flag as the big connection to how Deadpool will probably end up in the MCU. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself just yet. I want to talk about different possibilities of what Owen Wilson could be doing, and for that we need to remember, well, who was Owen Wilson in Loki? Come the end of Loki, Owen Wilson became a good friend of Loki. After having spent pretty much his entire career at the TVA chasing down different variants of Lokis, them seemingly constantly getting out of the sacred timeline one way or another, he came to know the character very well. In fact, he even would challenge Loki at times, saying that he knows Loki better than Loki knows himself, and that he's a very predictable specimen. Well, with that being continued on, at the end of the entire season, they ended up being very good buddies, but the very end of the season, Mobius no longer remembered who Loki was, as seen here.
Different versions of a very dangerous person, and they're all set on war. We need to prepare.
Take it easy. You're an analyst, right? What division are you from? What are you talking about? Who are you? What's your name?
So it will be very interesting to see how Loki continues on, considering we have a massive problem with He Who Remains, who's Kang, who's about to have a very prevalent relevance in the MCU, coming from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And then, of course, the big questions, where will Loki 2 pick up? We've seen a few set photos, some set videos of Loki and Mobius seemingly running around in the past, maybe in like the 50s or 60s time frame based off of what they were wearing together, we would assume that eventually they will remember who each other are, or Mobius will remember who Loki is, and we can get on to the big problem, and that's, Kang and the new TVA. And that's the recap of what we need to remember about Mobius up to this point. Why is that important? Well, it's possible that Mobius, who we're going to see in Deadpool, will be the new Mobius, who doesn't remember Loki, working for the TVA, and Deadpool will be messing around with time travel, as we've already seen him do, causing the TVA to come and try to collect him. Now, this could ultimately be how Deadpool ends up in the MCU. Some type of collection process, he's picked up, he escapes, and now he's in the sacred timeline. We know prior to Loki happening, there was only one timeline, and after Loki ended, well, now the multiverse is kind of in shambles. It's really all the Loki's fault, namely Sylvie, who killed He Who Remains, and left the multiverse to fall into all these different pieces, which is what has made Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, and now Deadpool all a possibility, was that creation of different universes within the multiverse. So, all very important things to remember, but now Mobius is going to go and collect Deadpool, potentially? I find it very unlikely that Loki and Mobius, who remembers what's happening, are going to go ask Deadpool for help, although they could stumble upon him. Where there's Mobius, Loki might not be too far, and Deadpool might have some type of solution to an issue they have, and that could be the ending of Deadpool 3, bringing Deadpool into the MCU. So, let's keep piecing some stuff together, and I apologize for those who think I'm rambling, which I kind of am. I'm just very excited for Deadpool 3, and now he's going to be involved with Loki somehow. It's very exciting stuff. But, Deadpool 3, we know very little about. Already said that. I get it. I'm rambling. But, maybe Deadpool 3 won't really take place in the MCU until the latter half, or maybe even the very end or post-credit scene of Deadpool 3, when he does transition over to the MCU. Maybe for Ryan Reynolds, it was more important to tell the Wolverine story, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine story, prior to making it over to the MCU, and then we can get a whole new MCU trilogy. He wants to finish the story of Deadpool before he moves to the big leagues. And although this will ultimately have a connection to the MCU, it's a standalone Deadpool film outside of the sacred timeline, outside of the characters that they have access to, and many other fine details like that. Now, if at the very end of the movie, this is when we find out Deadpool's now in the MCU, maybe a little bit of a disappointment, since everybody wants to see either Deadpool kills the Fox universe, or some type of MCU involvement for Deadpool, but I think that really does set us up for longevity with the character, where now he can start his MCU hierarchy and start spreading around all of that Deadpool cheer we've all been very patiently waiting for. But again, there are no promises, and there's very little information on Deadpool 3. We've heard very, very few leaks or rumors or anything. Ryan Reynolds is keeping this one under lock and key, and maybe once it starts filming, we can start getting a better idea of what exactly we should be expecting. But based off of the information that Mobius will be playing a very important role in Deadpool 3, I think my first thought is Deadpool 3 is going to be a standalone film that towards the end, or post-credit scene, Deadpool will be brought to the MCU by the TVA, namely Mobius in between Loki Season 1 and Loki Season 2, when Mobius remembers what the heck is going on, or has at least been told. We know little about this new Mobius, if it's a variant, if it's the same Mobius, what the heck is going on. We'll hopefully get some answers. The MCU is about to get really big. I know that there have been a lot of fan complaints about oversaturation or not as in-depth or fun connecting stories, but that was a huge building phase. Phase 4 is about to finish with Wakanda Forever and then the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy. But then we're in Phase 5, and things are going to start to pick up, just based off of the trailers we've seen for Phase 5, the information we know, the movies that are slated. It's going to be a big, big phase, and I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. But let me know what you think Mobius will be doing in Deadpool 3. Do you think he'll be in for a long run? Do you think Deadpool 3 might be a standalone film, or will the whole thing take place in the MCU? Thank you guys so much for watching until the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell. And I'll be sure to catch all of you guys in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.
Yeah, please subscribe, like this video, and see you guys. Bye. Have a great night. See you guys. Bye.